See that smile? Like, that smile, affectionate. We love his smile, and I miss that smile.
Ask Alan Lee Shaw Freeman's family about him, and they'll tell you about a legacy of love and laughter left behind.
He would give you the shirt off his back.
Down here on Earth, he was loved by everyone.
The 33-year-old was shot and killed during a robbery on November 6, 2020 in New Haven.
My heart just fell out my chest when I found out.
From the beginning, police suspected this man, Shamar Kelly. Kelly was on probation for assault and wearing a GPS ankle monitor at the time. GPS supervision is typically used if there is a victim safety concern and probation officers want to be able to track a suspect's location. That monitor placed Kelly at the murder scene. So did witnesses. But while police were investigating, Kelly took off. He cut off his GPS ankle monitor that should have known his every move.
I asked the police, is y'all going to get him?
He was able to cut it off and just leave the state.
Kelly is not the only suspect who's figured out how to get out of their ankle bracelet, something that should not be easy to do. In September 2022, Makai Thompson cut off his ankle bracelet after a shooting in East Hartford. A month later, while on the run, police say he shot and killed a man in Hartford following a road rage incident. He's now behind bars. Then in November 2022, Christopher Francis Queenie cut off his ankle bracelet after killing his 11-month-old daughter, Camilla. He went on the run for 2 weeks before police arrested him.
How many times is the system going to fail people?
So how often is this happening? Using data from the state, we found from January 2021 through the end of 2023, the state received around 990 tamper alerts. It's an alert that lets those watching know something is wrong. The alert could be as simple as someone bumping their bracelet against a wall. 44 of those alerts were true tampers, where an offender was successfully able to get off their bracelet.
I would just say that there's always a way. They can cut it off. There's been circumstances in the past where people that are double jointed have been able to get their foot and ankle out of it.
Gary Roberge oversees pretrial and probation for the judicial branch. Currently, there are 1,700 offenders on some form of electronic monitoring.
I'll also say that it happens in less than 0.5% of the cases that we have.
But in those cases, what happens after? Roberge says the state contracts with a national company called Sentinel Offender Services, who manufactures the bracelets, puts them on assigned offenders, and monitors the system 24/7 for any alerts.
But the monitoring company gets it in real time, and then they'll process that information, and it could be as quick as 5 minutes.
If it's a domestic violence case, Sentinel will call the police right away. If not, they reach out to the pretrial or probation officer, again 24/7, who will decide next steps, which can include police.
Do you think there's ever a delay because of all the people that need to be involved in that?
It's an efficient process, from my perspective.
In all 44 true tamper cases in Connecticut, warrants were issued. 5 remain on the run.
I just think that speaks to how well our officers supervise these cases.
Do you have faith that these ankle bracelets are strong enough?
Absolutely, yeah.
It would be up to Sentinel to make any changes to their monitors. When we asked the company if they would, they said in part, Sentinel has provided electronic monitoring services to law enforcement agencies throughout the nation for more than 30 years and has consistently designed our products to conform with industry practices and standards.
It's almost impossible to come up with a system where you cannot cut it off.
Former state lawmaker Mike Lawler says because of that, the legislature and voters should look into another option.
I wish Connecticut prosecutors have an option that most states allow, which is to hold people pre-trial in custody with no possibility of posting bail because there's evidence that they really pose a danger.
It's called pretrial detention. In New Jersey several years ago, voters amended their constitution to allow it. Lawler says Connecticut should consider it.
It's a small number of people, but when you see these warning signs, these red flags, you want to be able to make sure they're not out in the community.
Alan Lee Shaw Freeman's family doesn't disagree.
I just think sometimes the law should enforce it more than what they give these guys.
After cutting off his bracelet, Shamar Kelly disappeared to North Carolina. He was arrested there on a gun charge and brought back to Connecticut. Kelly is now behind bars on $2 million bond for Freeman's murder.
The laws need to change. When is it going to change? If he can reach that bond, he'll be free again. To what? Hurt somebody else's family member?
None of the police reports we reviewed for the story say what the suspects used to cut off their ankle monitors, only that they did. When we asked Sentinel about this, they said there are national industry standards that dictate how the device should fit and how strong the strap must be, and that they meet the standards. We have a list of all those offenders who were able to take off their bracelets on our website. Sam Smink, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.